Hello everybody! It is now March and we are 2 months into the year, 2 months into my 100 books challenge, and I'm definitely a little bit behind where I wanted to be, but I have read a lot of really good books this month, so I'm really excited to share which ones I read and then which ones I'm planning to read in this next month. So yeah, let's get into it. The first book that I finished this month was The Three Musketeers by Alexander Dumas. My mom took it on her trip, so I don't have it with me, but if you want to see what the book looks like, you can check out my video from last month. And that was so good. Obviously, it's a classic, and I've seen pretty much every iteration on TV and movie that you can think of. And the book is in some ways really similar and in some ways really different from every single iteration. So Alexander Dumas, especially in The Three Musketeers, is really humorous in his writing and also has it's this really good juxtaposition of being this kind of serious storyline with these really humorous characters, and so I really enjoyed it and highly recommend it. I would love to one day, once I've brushed up on my French, read it in French, since that is the original language it was written in. But the translation that I read was really good as well and really fun to read, and I loved it. Okay, the second book that I read was an audiobook, so I actually listened to it. I didn't read it. But that was The Girl on the Train. I can't remember the author right now, but it'll be over here so you can see it. And that is like a thriller mystery book that was really good. I did guess the ending, but most people probably won't. Parts of it were really surprising and interesting, and some of it that I guessed, but the book itself was really good and really fun to listen to. If you're sensitive to language, they do use the F word every once in a while throughout the book, and some other swear words, but not a ton, so it didn't bother me that much. But it did kind of give me a shoot every time they used the F word, since I am not used to that kind of language. But it was a really good book and really fun and not super gory. There were parts that could be kind of intense, but it didn't dwell on anything that was really gory or violent, and it didn't dwell on anything too sexual. There were sexual relations, but not any really intense, gross scenes that you have to worry about. So I really liked that book as well and would highly recommend it. The third book that I read is this book called I Am That Girl by Alexis Jones. It's called I Am That Girl, How to Speak Your Truth, Discover Your Purpose, and Be That Girl. So this was my inspirational book of the month. And, excuse me. Yeah, so this was my inspirational book of the month. And I really loved it. In here she shares a lot of her own ideas, but also, let me see if I can find one. She shares stories from different women that are entrepreneurs, authors, or just in some way following their passion. So this one is by Gina Rudin, author, thought leader, and president of Genuine Insights Incorporated. But those are littered throughout the book, where they share different stories from their life of how they became resilient, or how they decided what their passion was, or how they're going after their passion, or whatever it is, just something from their life. And that is really good. Tons of great insights in here. And also something else that she does is, let me see if I can find it. She has these little like timeouts or what do I say in this situation. So here's one called Time Out. Are you an excuseaholic? So this chapter is, or this section is all about like not making excuses. And so she does this little timeout that is like a little practice that you can do right then, or like when you are feeling like you're making an excuse. So this says, how often do you make excuses? The moment we decide we don't want to do something, a comforting menu of excuses drops into our head with viable reasons why we are in fact not going to attend X, or why we forgot to do Y. Follow the steps below and see my own experiences observing the behavior. So then she has steps about like what that excuse might be and how you can combat it. So I really like this book a lot, and it gives you a lot of helpful tips and really actionable steps to just becoming the best person, the best version of you, the best person you can be. So yeah, I really liked this book, and I definitely think you should read it. Okay, the next book that I read is this one. It's called A Lady's Guide to Etiquette and Murder by Diane Freeman. And this book is the first in a series of books now, so I'm planning on reading. There's 2 of them, I believe, out, and then she's writing more. But this was good. It started kind of slow, and I think that's partially because it is the first in the series, so you're kind of like getting to know the characters and finding out their personalities and learning a little bit about them. Before it kind of gets into the murder and mystery and everything. But it's really good. I only guessed half of this one, actually. I guessed half of the mystery in this one, and then the other half was a total shock and surprise to me, so that was really fun. And yeah, it's just really good. It's funny and has the fun mystery. It has a little bit of romance. So it's just overall a really good book. Well written, pretty easy to read. And yeah, another really good book. All of the books I read this month have been really good. So it's been a good month of reading. Okay, then this last book that I read is called LMNOP. Maybe it'll focus. A Novel in Letters. And that is kind of a play on words because it is written in letters. So as you can see, it's like dear whoever, and then love or sincerely whoever wrote the letter, and then it's just all letters. So I really like novels that are written a little bit differently instead of just chapters. So this one is fun since it is in the letter format. It's a really easy read. It's about 200 pages. I read it in a day. And it's really funny. It's kind of a dystopian novel a little bit. It takes place on this fictional island. What is it called? Of Nolep, I believe. And it's named after the man Nevin Nolep who wrote the sentence that is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, which includes every single letter in the alphabet. And so it's like this fictional island, people who love Nolep, and Nolep like founded this island nation or something. And on this island they have this 100-year-old statue of Nevin Nolep, and it has the sentence, again, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, like on it somehow, and letter tiles begin to fall off because it's 100 years old and these were placed on with not great adhesive. But the island council or government decides that Nevin Nolep is speaking to them from the grave and telling them that they need to stop using whatever letter falls off. So the first letter to fall off is Z. and so then they outlaw Z, and then more letters begin to fall off as the story progresses, and the people who are writing the letters are getting more and more annoyed and anxious and trying to overturn this crazy government that has decided that Nevin Nollop is the all-powerful being speaking to them from beyond the grave. So it's pretty funny, and I think it really shows how important each one of our letters is. Even, like, so when the Z falls off, all of the books pretty much are outlawed, because any book that you read is going to have at least one Z in it. And so, even though we don't think of those as, like, core, really important letters, they really are. And so, I just really liked the play on words being letters, and that the letters were falling off, and then these people are, like, really well-spoken, like well-educated, and their letters keep getting like more dumbed down as you go along because they're losing all of these letters. And then in the end they like overturn the government, and it's really good. It's really good. It's fun to read. Again, I read it in a day. It's a really easy read. But yeah, I loved it, so definitely highly recommend it. So yeah, February was an awesome reading month for me. Obviously, I didn't get all of the books read that I said I was going to read. I knew I wouldn't. I went overboard at the library last month. But I really loved all of the books that I read. I would read them all again. I won't this year because I'm trying to read 100 different books, but definitely loved everything that I read in the month of February, and I'm excited about what I'm going to be reading in the month of March. So I'm going to head off to the library now. I will try not to go overboard this time, and I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, I am back from the library. I went overboard again because I just can't control myself at the library. I literally went for 3 books, and they didn't have one of them, and I came back with 6 books. Right? 6. Yes. So that's just what happens. But I probably won't finish all of these this month. I feel like I'm going to say that every month. You're going to get used to me being like, I got way too many books at the library, but here you go. Alright, there's my puppy. So yeah, I'm going to be reading all of the books that I didn't read last month, and you can see what books those are in my video from last month, which I'll put up here and in the description, so you can check that out. And then all of these books. So my very sweet friend Emily saw my last video, and if you didn't see, again, you can watch it, but also I got the Bourne, what is it? I can never remember the names. Okay. The Bourne Ultimatum, which is the 3rd book, also the 3rd movie in the Jason Bourne series, and our library did not have the Bourne Supremacy, and so she sent it to me, so she's so sweet, and I'm really excited to read it. These books are so long. But yeah, I'm really excited to read it, and she's just a sweetheart, so thank you so much, Emily. I can't wait to read it. Then, the ones that I got at the library. So, the ones that I went for, I'll start with those. The first one that I went for is this one called Brain Maker, The Power of Gut Microbes to Heal and Protect Your Brain for Life. So I just thought this sounded interesting. I'm always interested in health and like how what we eat affects our body, so I'm excited to read this. I'm hoping it's not like super scientific-y. But yeah, that's kind of my like personal development book for the month. It's this one, so I'm excited about that. It's by David Perlmutter, MD, with Kristen Loberg. So yeah, I'll let you guys know, of course, how good it is. Then the other one that I went to get is, this is a humongous book, but it's The Princess Bride. Love the movie, and decided it was time that I read the book because I've never read it. So this book is kind of huge, but the writing is fairly big, and there's some pictures and stuff, and it's, I mean, this binding and version is really beautiful. Can you see that shine? It shimmers. It's just really beautiful, so I'm excited to read that as well. And if you haven't seen the movie, you should see it. Okay, then when I was looking at The Princess Bride, another book caught my eye, and I thought, I read the description, it sounded interesting, so I got it. It's also not very long, so it should be pretty easy, but it's called The Singles by Meredith Goldstein. So it's like, I guess, about a bunch of people who go to someone's wedding and they're all single. So, yeah, we'll see if it's any good. The next one, I was looking for a book in the Witch and Wizard series by James Patterson, and they didn't have the second one. They had, I think, the third one. I think it's a trilogy, I'm not sure. But they didn't have the second one, and I have only read the first one, so I didn't get it, but I did see this one by James Patterson that looks possibly interesting. Again, fairly short, so it should be easy to read. It's called The Dangerous Days of Daniel X. So yeah. Okay, this one was, again, kind of near the Princess Bride, but in the mystery section. And it's a Franny Fisher mystery. So if you haven't seen the Franny Fisher murder mystery TV show, it's based off of these books, and the TV show is absolutely amazing. You should watch it. But I got this one called Urn Burial, a Franny Fisher mystery. So it's not quite 200 pages. Again, hopefully a quick read, and I always like mysteries. Then the last one that I got is this series that I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I don't think I've ever seen the movie. I've never read the books, but I've heard great things from my siblings, so I decided to get it. This is the first one, The Lightning Thief, and if it's good, I'll make my way through the series throughout this year. So yeah, those are all the books that I'm planning on reading. Again, I went a little bit overboard, but that is just what happens when I'm in the library. I like books and I like looking at them. So anyways, I'm excited to read those and let you know what I think, and let me know in the comments what books you're reading this month, and as always, any recommendations you have. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.